Hello and welcome back to another episode of East Got Game, where we give you the X's, the O's, and the insights of NBL 1 East. Thank you for joining us live tonight on YouTube and Instagram. And remember, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at East Got Game, or you can continue to find our episodes on your preferred streaming platforms. And look, if it doesn't have East Got Game, it shouldn't be your preferred streaming platform. And while you're there, check out Cut to the Jace, a podcast featuring current Bankstown Bruin Jason Kadee, and It's a Cole World, a podcast by WNBL champion Bet Cole, both brought to you by basketball.com.au. And you're not seeing things. Once again, Squin has other duties to attend to, and we have been joined tonight by the one and only, the voice of the Hornsby Ku-ring-gai Spiders, James Milan. James, welcome.
Oh, it's always good to be back on East Got Game. I will say I missed my mixed C comp tonight for this, but it's always worth it to be on the pod. And thank you for having me again, Squin and Lockie. Man, I don't know. I still get nervous coming on this. I love your show.
No need to be nervous. Squin is, of course, on FIBA Under-17 Women's World Cup commentary duty, which is in a horrendous time zone for us. So I think we can forgive her for missing an episode of EGG to commentate on a World Cup, because why not? But James, it was a big week. It was a very big week. The 13 of the 16 final spots are now decided. 6 in the women's, and 7 in the men's.
Yeah, all locked in. It's that time of year where, you're a little fatigued. I was listening to the Next Question with Caleb just earlier today, and his interview with Lockie Hutchinson, and they were just saying how the fatigue of the season really starts to catch up with you at this point, but especially for the teams right at the bottom of the table, in the 7th and 8th spot, trying to jostle for those last few positions. But yeah, I was just saying to you before we came on air that it's like, there's maybe with 5 rounds to go, your attention shifts away from that top 4 to the bottom 4 of the top 8, the teams that are kind of vying for that last spot. And because, it's a competitive competition, but in both comps, it's looked like North's, Manly, and COE in both men's and women's have been locked in for a while now. And meanwhile, specific to the men's comp, Illawarra have kind of had that spot secured. But Lockie, I really need to pick your brains, and for all the East Got Game fans out there, all the East fans out there, I think we need to talk about the last scramble for the last few spots in the final round.
Well, I mean, we can't talk about the last spot in finals without talking about the Newcastle Falcons, who are, tied for the longest winning streak in NBL 1 East men's. They were, I think, 2-10. They're now 9-10, 7-game winning streak, and they're now at the point where if they win, they're in. I don't think anyone would have seen that coming 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, what a turnaround by the Falcons, and I've been impressed game in, game out how different players have stepped up. Elias Cato especially has stepped up in so many games that Mandra Worthy will take over. But a big shout out to their 2 long-term veterans, Jaden Goodwin and Ryan Beastie, who I think have stuck with the program through thick and thin. And I think those 2 guys have really been been so solid in this end of season run. There was a lot of player turnover in the off season, which there was the obvious stories with Miles Cherry moving on, Kobe Shannon moving back to Sydney, joining the Bulls. But those 2 guys, Goodwin and Beastie, stuck with the program, and I think with all their new players, stitching them all together and putting together a late season run. Sometimes it takes until the last quarter of the season to really click, and boy, have they clicked.
They certainly have. I mean, Elias Cato, he was announced pre-season but didn't arrive until a little way in. They got Chavez Woods late on. Trace Evans is a local boy. He's back home. So they really added some good pieces. But like you said, sometimes it takes a while. But, I mean, I say win and you're in, but they got to go to Maitland to do it.
Yeah, so just double checking though. So the Central Coast Crusaders don't Newcastle beat the Crew. So do they have the split on them?
Yes.
To get in.
They only played each other once this year. So yeah.
Oh, man, you can't write a better script than this. And I'm sure the NBL One East fixture gourds were stitching this one together, saying, "Well, let's finish the season with a Maitland Newcastle derby," but they couldn't have predicted this, that you're going to have a derby game at Federation Centre, also known as the Mojo Home Centre now, to decide who gets into the finals. And boy, wouldn't Maitland love to spoil Newcastle's party? That'd be very sweet for them. But meanwhile, on the flip side, in the women's division as well, the Maitland women, they also desperately need a win so Newcastle can spoil their party.
Yes, Maitland need to see where Maitland exactly land. They are 9-9, so if they win both, they'll be in a tie. At worst, they'll be in a tiebreaker with Hills and Hornsby. And Hornsby played Bankstown. And Hills play Illawarra. Hills play Illawarra, which you would, on current form, expect Hills to win that and go to 11-9. Hornsby against this Bankstown team. I know you're the voice of the Spiders, but I have to say the Bankstown Bruins would be heavily favoured in that fixture.
Well, to Lauren Curtin, the Bruins out there, look, you've locked your spot up in finals. Maybe rest a few players. Take it easy. You don't want to risk injury. It's a long trip from Bankstown up to the beautiful Upper North Shore to Thornley. So maybe just rest a few players. Take it easy on Saturday. Enjoy from home.
Yeah, sure, James.
I don't think so. No, they're definitely not.
If you don't ask, you won't get. But, the game that I like to call the Cumberland Conflict, named after the Great Cumberland Highway.
Oh wow, I like that. Actually, you come with the best ones, Lockie, and love how the Thompson's Corner tussle as well. I do have to give you credit for that. The league's very much adopted that now, and
they have.
Credit to you on that one.
I throw out a lot of nicknames, and occasionally one sticks.
Occasionally they do, but yeah, the Cumberland, I like that. Yeah, let's lock that in. I'm going to be using that on Saturday. But but back to Maitland real quickly though. They've got. The Bankstown Bruins will be. I don't know if the Bruins and Maitland have a rivalry name, but they got to face Maitland's got to face Newcastle on the Saturday. Then is it Bruins on the Sunday?
Yes.
Oh, that's very tough.
Yeah, I think that's why that Hills Maitland game the other week was so vital. Knowing Maitland have to play Newcastle and Bankstown to finish off, they would have been 10-9 at this stage, and 10-8, and Hills would have been 9-10 with the split Maitland. So I mean, they were 4-8 and won 5 of their last 6 to get into this spot. So
yeah, it's going to be tough for Maitland, but one thing you can always bank in with every Maitland team, from juniors all the way up to seniors, but especially this NBL One women's team, is they are going to go down swinging. They're going to throw everything they can at this. And shout out to Coach Granger as well. He's done a really good job developing quite a competitive program. And not just of late, but over last season and this season, Maitland's women's program's really starting to pump. Also on a Waratah League level, but we're an NBL One East podcast. But I do know Maitland women are top of the Waratah League at the moment. So good things going on in the women's program up there at the Fed Centre.
Certainly is. So, and I mean, we talk about, Newcastle win and they're in, Crew win and Newcastle lose, they're in. But below that, if Central Coast go down to Albury and lose, and Newcastle lose to Maitland, Comets, Hills, Inner West, and Bankstown can all tie with them on 9-11, because they're all either 8-11 or 7-11, and none of them play each other. Meaning, technically, there is a route to a 6-way tie for 8th place.
Oh no. I don't think there's an AI algorithm that could figure this out, really, Lockie. Thank God we've got you in the league to sort this mathematics out. Anyone who's been listening to my commentary knows that I'm not very good with scenarios or with mathematics. I still use my fingers to count a lot of the time. But yeah, that would be super dramatic. But a testament to the league, though, at how competitive it's come, especially... I mean, I know you and Squid have been talking about this all season. Normally, it's the men's division that throws up a lot of logjam from that 6th to about that 12th, 13th, 14th spot. But the women's comp this year has been an absolute I can't swear on this podcast, but it's been an absolute fight at the for that 8th spot. And it goes to show that a lot of programs are starting to really become legit.
They certainly are, yes. And that 6-way tie will happen if Bankstown beat Hornsby, Hills beat Illawarra, Maitland beat Newcastle, Inner West beat Manly, Albury beat Central Coast, Comets beat Canberra, and then Bankstown beat Maitland on the final day. So 7 results in the men's comp, and we've got a 6-way tie for 8th. I don't like it.
Yeah, I know. I don't like it. But yeah, I think it's safe to say by Sunday night, I think everyone's going to be feeling a lot more calm about all this. So, hey, strap yourself in, East fans, and get down to your local stadium and go support your teams. It's going to be a ripper finish of the season.
It 100% is. But moving on, of course, you had some. You were up at Newcastle, were you, or were you watching at home?
No, I was watching at home actually, and I just wanted to take a quick time to shout out the Newcastle commentators, Chris McPherson and Jonah Armstrong. They were so good. I really enjoyed watching, listening to their call. I was covering a few Waratah games up at the Brick Pit, so got the live stream on the train back to Central, and they were just so much fun to watch. It just sounded like two mates having a conversation. And that's a real style of commentary that I really enjoy, and you could hear the passion and their love for the game in their call. And Jonah, I think that was one of his first games commentating. He's still playing Waratah League with Newcastle at the moment, but it was really insightful, and their 1-2 punch, they were bouncing off each other so well. They're having fun, but also really insightful, especially about the Newcastle team. So I learned a lot. So I just wanted to give them a little shout out, and not to keep labouring on with commentators saying that commentators are the best people in the world. We're not, but we're trying. And a shout out to Andrew Reynolds as well, who joined us on the call on Friday night. Speaking of having fun on the call, I had an absolute ball on Friday at Alexandria. And Andrew Reynolds' first season calling NBL 1 East action, and hopefully the first of many to come, because he was absolute pleasure to call the game with.
And speaking of Comets commentators, my co-commentator from a few weeks ago, a couple of times this season, Jem Hudson, who also runs the Comets TikTok, did her first play-by-play call on the Comets v Maitland women's game. So
damn, Jem doing everything.
Stepping up. So yeah, she's done 3 game nights of color comms, and stepped up to do play-by-play. So hey, good on her. We need it. Yeah. I mean, we don't have a lot of women doing play-by-play commentary. We have a few doing special comms, especially not in East.
Yeah, not yet. But I think there's a lot of clubs out there trying to flip that script a little bit, and that's great. Like up at the Brick Pit, we've had Jess Knight, one of our Waratah players, jumping on the call, and she's getting better feedback than I am. Everyone seems to want her more than me on the call. So big shout out to Jess Knight as well. Doubling Waratah player / NBL.
I say Jess Knight. That doubles as a commentator shout out and a deep cut Waratah League reference as well.
Yeah, and she's an absolute legend as well. But I've been really impressed by the level of commentary this year around the league, and I'm particularly over the moon to hear a lot of new commentators coming on, and a lot of clubs giving a chance to new voices to jump on. I think it's great because everyone sees the game a little bit differently, and it's really refreshing. I like to hear it because I get to hearing my own voice. So it's really good to have some up and coming talent, not just on the court but off the court too.
Very much so. And we also had former Sydney Uni Flames star Eva Afiaki join us for the call at Sutherland for the men's game on Saturday night. So more new voices, but we do have a few other things to talk about. Of course, we got to shout out one of the absolute goats of the league, Nicole Munger, racking up 100 games in NBL 1.
Oh no! Wow,
it makes sense. We have a 20-22 game season. It's the 5th season. A lot of players are hitting 100, but when it's someone like Nicole Munger standing out, and to have an import come back so regularly. Import come back for 5 seasons.
Yeah, so if I could just take the chance to pitch to Nicole Munger, Australia, it's the land of opportunity, it's the land of plenty. And if you want an Australian citizenship, please just let us know. We'd love to have you on Team Australia. And surely now, like how many MVPs do you have to win in NBL one? How many WNBL seasons do you have to play before you can become an Aussie citizen? I think Nicole Munger, even if it's not official, I am, you are, we are all Australian now. And so, but on a serious note though, like having her come here, like still in kind of not the wild west days that NBL one is, but still when the league was trying to find its feet, and show other imports that this isn't just a league where you can come and get your reps up and get a bit of money for the year, but you can actually stay and make a home and use that as a professional pathway into the WNBL. It's been amazing what she's done for Newcastle, but it's been amazing that example she set for international players, and what an ambassador she's been for the league. Anytime you hear her in interviews or on Newcastle's social media and stuff like that, she's always so well spoken, and just a great person to have in the league. And that's before we even get to her absolute dominance on the court. So feels like time's been flying, but again, Nicole Munger, Bryce Cotton just made his Boomers debut. So if you want to see yourself in potentially in Australia jersey soon, I don't know if that's a bit of a stretch, but would love if she could hang around for not just a couple more years, but decades and hopefully a lifetime.
And also, she was the very first guest we ever had on Escott Game.
Exactly, a pioneer.
It's like Squin and I were just. Squin and I were just like, who should we get? Who should we try to get? We were just like, do you want to just try and get Munger? She was like, yeah, sure, come on.
I love the ambition. Shoot for the stars.
Exactly.
And you call one.
And speaking of this league being a professional pathway to the WNBL, Darcy Reese from the Illawarra Hawks came over from South Australia to join the Hawks as being the starting centre. And she signed for the Sydney Flames, so they've rounded out their roster. They've filled out their roster with by signing Darcy.
Yeah, that's incredible. It's so. I mean, I don't just want to totally repeat the speech, but yeah, if you guys are looking for a professional pathway, there it is. And yeah, she's been incredible for the Illawarra Hawks this season. No one I was talking to Hawks Hangout as part of a show that I did. But I asked them, could you just pick one player for the men's and women's team? And he picked Darcy Reese as a player he wanted to talk about for the women's side, and how consistent she's been defensively, offensively, in a leadership position as well with the Illawarra Hawks. And I think she's going to bring a lot to the Sydney Flames. I know on the call on Friday I was calling for maybe Chantal Horvat to get that last spot as a big, but Darcy Reese is definitely a professional level player.
She definitely is. Went to college at the University of Washington, the same school that a certain player named Kelsey Plum went to.
Sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar. She's pretty good at the old basketball. So go Dogs.
Yeah.
Kelsey taught me that when they toured Australia.
Nice.
Yeah. Down at Comet, watch them play the Waratah League All Stars. I think down at Comets.
Fun
times back in the day.
Yeah, I know. Oh, wow. Oh, man. Yeah, I saw some photos of that a couple months ago when I was looking up something for a story. I'm like, what is this? This is great. Bring back the All-Star game.
So many Waratah League All-Stars versus college teams. Very, very fun days.
And I gotta say, I'm as much as this NBL one season is great. I'm licking my lips for this WNBL season. Like the Sydney Flames, first year with Renee at the helm. I was like, to start the season, they've assembled a really exciting roster, but you have to tune into other podcasts to hear more about that. But I can't wait to get my Sydney Flames membership and head out to some games.
How good. But before that, we've got NBL 1 East Finals up NBL 1 East Grand Final will be up at GYG Stadium in Terrigal, up on Squin's home patch. It's been at Penrith the last few years, but taking it up to Terrigal, where we were for last year's Waratah League Grand Finals, and they put on a really good show up there.
Yeah, you captured right there, Lockie. I think maybe even the Waratah League Grand Finals, Youth League Grand Finals, etc. Last season were a bit of a trial run. Because I mean, the hospitality up in the Central Coast. I was just there a couple of weeks, like 2 weeks ago. It's awesome. Everything from the little details, from the canteen to the huge Jazz Forcadilla cutout, the Luke Cassidy cutout. It's just a great experience going there, and I think especially for a big game like this, it's really going to be pumping. And correct me if I'm wrong, but they hosted Waratah like old school Waratah grand final back there. You probably know this. I can't remember what year, but this isn't the first time, right?
No. So I'm pretty sure they were it was like the first. So I think Crew Men won it that season. I think it was the first ever time that a home team had won the grand final.
Oh, right.
Since they started selecting a venue for it.
Right. And was that like 2018?
Let me think. 20.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry to any listeners out there.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think back, but I think 2018. Yes, because 2017 was Maitland, Northby, Manly. So 2018 for the women. 2018 was Newcastle, Canberra with Keely Froling. Newcastle got up there with Shannon Seaborn coaching.
Right.
And then the men's game Crew won. There we go. Got there in the end.
Yeah.
It helps that I've been to all of these.
Yeah. So not the first rodeo up there in Terrigal, and I think it's going to be a great venue to host it, and maybe something that the league would want to look forward for in the future. Like I could see maybe like a bit of a roaming grand final. Maybe you can even get local councils fighting for the right to host, because it actually is a good little boost for the local economy. I know they do that for the national finals. You can't got different cities, different municipalities bidding for it. But I could see even like a grand final up in Newcastle. Maybe I heard they're rebuilding the stadium up there eventually. Sorry, Newcastle fans, if that's a bit of a sore spot. But I think the funding's gone through. But I wouldn't mind seeing like a grand final. You said in Maitland, there's been one before. In Newcastle would be great, even down, maybe potentially even at the Snake Pit. I do like the kind of, if this turns into a common fixture to change the location every year, it could be a lot of fun. And there's plenty of great venues in New South Wales. So
there certainly are. You know what's a great venue in New South Wales? Iguana Joe's.
Oh, Iguana Joe's, yeah, exactly. And I hear they were actually the driving force behind this, because I think there's a sweet deal going on at Iguana Joe's afterwards. So they're hosting the official after party, the unofficial, after party for the NBL 1 East Grand Final. So we'll see everyone there. And yeah, it's I can't wait.
It's going to be so much fun. I will be there. Buy a ticket, get media cred, whatever I have to do.
Yeah, no, you sneak in by any means necessary, and hey, why not make a weekend out of it as well? I mean, an excuse to get a little holiday house, get a little apartment, a hotel in Terrigal, stay overnight. Why not go to the beach? It's a beautiful spot in the world, and I think it's really just going to be rocking. Anyway, I can't wait. I'm already buzzing for it.
And the games, I mean, regardless of who qualifies, the games are going to be epic.
Oh, they always are. Yeah. they always are, and So no, but shout out to the league, a great choice of venue.
Indeed, but our game of the week this week is between two teams that have real ambitions to be there on Terrigal on August 16th. Sutherland and Illawarra men is our game of the week. But James, you want to shout out a couple of Sutherland people?
Yeah, I don't. What's the plural for Norris? Norai? Nori? No, but I just look, and I'm sure you'll have a little more to say about this. But what a night for the Norrises down at the Shark Tank. We pretty much say that every time there's a game down there. But yeah, Matty Norris hitting the 100 games down at the Shark Tank and celebrating that with a W. And then meanwhile on the other court, Cal Norris dropping 49 points in. Sorry, that's insane. And I wonder if they're trying to get him that last point, dropping 49 points in a win over the top place defending champion Mossvale Magic in Waratah League. So shout out to the Norrises. What a night out at the Shark Tank. I mean, it's always a great night at the Shark Tank, but Maddie playing her 100th game. Was it 100 NBL 1 East game?
No. We were celebrating hers and Liv Douglas's that night. Maddie's was the previous week at Manly, and Liv's was that game.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
So 101 games. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so yeah, Maddie celebrating that, and then Cal Norris is absolutely erupting in the Waratah League against the Mossvale Magic. Yeah. So shout out to the Norrises. What a night out.
It was great. And one more thing that I forgot to mention before we get to Game of the Week. Davo Hickey starting for the Lakers in Summer League.
Oh yeah. that's
Funnily
incredible.
enough, I was looking at the rosters and I was like, the only player I know here is Davo Hickey, which says a lot about what kind of basketball I watch.
Yeah. Not a big G League fan.
No.
There's only so many hours in a day, huh?
That's right.
Yeah, but incredible for Davo Hickey. We saw Buwali Bales getting decent minutes for New York Knicks last Summer League. We saw Will Johnston getting a call up to the New York Knicks Summer League squad, but Davo Hickey just going to a whole new level and starting for the Lakers in Summer League. Oh, I mean, the Davo Hickey story is nothing short of incredible. But of course, Hornsby Kringle Spiders might not have been the year that fans were hoping for in the men's division, but to have two players in Summer League, including a starter, that's something the fans at the Brick Pit can hold their head high about. And congratulations to Davo Hickey. We're talking about the pathways the league provides before, but yeah, to kind of keep his motor running in the NBL 1 East, to springboard him into a great Summer League campaign, just goes to show that the league's great. Davo Hickey's great. It's all great. Everything's marvelous, as Richie would say.
We're the commentary team, and we reckon everything's marvelous.
Yeah.
But moving on to the game at the Shark Tank on Saturday night, it was Sutherland and Illawarra in a massive showdown. Illawarra looking to push for a top 2 spot, maybe even a minor premiership if everything falls their way, whilst for Sutherland trying to keep their top 4 hopes alive and maybe even push for 3rd and maybe even 2nd. They'd need a lot more to go their way, but a win is the best they can, the best way to start. And it was the Sutherland Sharks getting the win, 92-88 in an absolute barn burner that I had a lot of fun calling. Interestingly, it was a game with a couple of big outs. So there was no Mason Peatling for the Illawarra Hawks, but there was no Bailey MacArthur for the Sutherland Sharks. And look, I know Mason Peatling is a 150 NBL game player and Bailey MacArthur is a under 20s rep. But Bailey MacArthur is a big part of that Sutherland team, even if he doesn't have the same pedigree as someone like Mason Peatling. So first quarter, James, I thought the Sharks took real advantage of Peatling not being there because a lot ran through Luke Jamison in those early couple of minutes. They were feeding him a lot. Whether he was getting to the rack, whether he was getting out in transition, they were finding him, whether he was trying to hit threes, he just they looked like they were like, all right, we know they're going to try and take Spurgeon out of the game. We can use Jamison as the matchup that we have the advantage with here.
Noticed that pretty much immediately because there was a play, I think he missed the 3, but Jamison was like, this is wide open, I think, for 2 threes in that first quarter. And I had to keep rewinding, like, wait, who is actually marking up on Jamison here? Because there's not, I guess Todd Blanchfield maybe, but I think he was playing a lot of help defense because out of like the pick and roll situation with Hutch and Spurgeon, for example, like you got to kind of pick your poison, but they'd end up kind of blitzing it. And then Jamison was just wide open. But you're right, without Peatling in the middle, the Sharks were just looking to get downhill. And I think that actually was a big story of the game, which I think we'll get to with Spurgeon's performance. But nothing against Fletcher McDonald, though. And that actually was one of my first notes. That I'm so stoked to see Fletcher McDonald in NBL 1 East. And I hope he's going to stay around for a while. I think he's done with college. But he's, I reckon, one of the under radar signings of the season. And sorry if it sounds like I'm exaggerating here, but Fletcher McDonald's an elite talent. I think he had a little hand injury though, so maybe didn't shoot that well this game. But he's a very capable replacement. But yeah, I think they were missing Peatling, especially on the defensive end. But yeah, Luke Jamison came out to play against his old club.
Yeah. You say his old club, you reach back and deep in the memory bank to find that one. I mean, what I also found interesting was Harrison Rayner being in the starting lineup for the Sutherland Sharks, because he comes. A lot of times we've seen him come off the bench like 3 or 4 minutes in to spell Lachlan Hutchison really early. And then we've also seen times where like he's earned his starting minutes, and then so they put him in the starting lineup, and then they've kind of just like it hasn't meshed. But I don't think we saw that this way. I think we saw he and Hutchison have really learned to play well together. They're not stepping on each other's toes. They're deciding who's going to be ball handler, who's going to play off the ball. And I think Rayner, and we'll get to it later on, he hit one corner three, but I think the way he's hitting his threes means he's really being respected as a shooter, and he can be used off the ball a lot more.
Yeah, it's I was very curious about that because I noticed as well when you said no Bailey MacArthur, I thought, okay, well then who's kind of coming off the bench in that kind of guard position? And I know Rayner is like in a way the leader of that second unit. And when Hutch came off, I'm like, oh damn, who's running the point? Aaron Wilbarn's not here anymore. Who's going to do it? Adrian Cabrera kind of stepped in that position, but yeah, there's a lot of competition for that 2-guard spot on the Sharks team. We're talking about MacArthur, Rayner, and Adrian Cabrera, who obviously Adrian Cabrera is a championship winner with this side and a championship starter. But I think Harry Rayner in this game really showed why he got trusted in the starting lineup. I mean, finished the game. I think I'm sure I can spoil this part. Finished the game with 16 points of 75% shooting, but also played some incredible defense on what is a very difficult three-headed monster that the Illawarra Hawks start games with Mins, Kone, and Cami. The Illawarra Hawks came out and they were firing the ball around. They looked very calm, very confident. And I noticed they started with Mims at the point guard, which I'm a fan of, but I think later on they maybe got away from that. So maybe we saw Harrison Rayner in the starting lineup for a defensive matchup there. But he was super impressive.
Yeah, I like that you brought up the defensive matchup because one thing Jake, my co-commentator, mentioned is that he needed to stay disciplined on defense because he is such an active defender, especially on the ball. He's getting better at picking his moments as well. So, I mean, Matt Mims has just elevated his game so much. As I've said multiple times, pretty much any time I talk about the Illawarra Hawks, they were great last year with Kobe, McDowell-White, and Matt Mims both in the roster. But Kobe not being there has just unlocked Matt so much. I really like, even from the opening seconds of this game, we just saw Matt Mims absolutely on fire for the Illawarra Hawks. He knocked down a couple of early threes. He was controlling the tempo. He was pretty much doing almost as he pleased in terms of guiding his team around the floor.
Yeah, wow. I was so, like, you should see my notes here that they're not even very descriptive. They've got Matt Mims, sorry, what? Question mark, exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark. And then the next one is, dear Lord, Matt Mims is so good. 11 points already. And that was with 3 minutes to go in the quarter. Yeah, so not the most articulate or poetic notes I've made here. But yeah, he was just getting into his spots, gliding around, running the offense to perfection, especially in that first quarter. Wow. I was at a loss for words for Matt Mims. Just came out with that sucker punch. And at least in those first, let's say 5-6 minutes of that quarter, a quote from last time we did this podcast together and reviewed a Crew versus Bankstown game. And you said there seems to be a tendency in NBL 1, at least in NBL 1 East, from what we can tell, that teams just come out looking to knock each other out. They come in as this try to get that sucker punch, but they kind of end up just looking nervous and frantic.
Mm.
And I think as the quarter went on, what really calmed down the Illawarra Hawks from that kind of trying to go out for the knockout blow mentality was Matt Mims and the way he kind of steered the side around.
Yeah, 100%. He just calms everything down. And we have seen him just get so much better. And I think that's been the best part. And also knocked down a 3 from 30 feet. And it wasn't even really a bailout. It was just given the option. And kind of just gives defenses something else to think about with him, which is just so tough when someone can pull, especially in if you see someone like Steph Curry or James Harden pull up from 30 feet and shoot it, or Damian Lillard. Yeah, sure. This is NBL 1 East.
Yeah.
There's not many 30-foot shooters you have to guard. Well, one of them now plays Waratah League, and he had 49 on Saturday.
Yeah, it's and has done it plenty of times in that court too.
Yeah.
But the moment he just like called his number, and I don't know whether it's the day in the life videos that get stuck in my head, but you can just see in his game. There's some players you can see in their game that they're just so refined. Like every little aspect of the game, the handles, the way they move around the court is just like sharp and refined. And I think you really see that with Matt Mims. But meanwhile, on the other side, I thought the Sharkies, Tyler Robertson started a bit to start the game. I didn't quite click into gear until like the last couple minutes in that first quarter. Was maybe just settling a bit for some tough shots. But when you've got a shooter like that, you're not too mad about the misses because it's only going to be a matter of time before they flip the script. And Tyler Robertson kind of finished that quarter in rhythm, getting the lid off the basket with about a minute to go, and then getting a buzzer beater to finish the quarter off.
It's funny, in my little summary for my notes for the first quarter, Robertson coming into his own late in the quarter is exactly what I wrote. He settled for a few shots. Once he gets that little slow, hezzy dribble going and gets in deep into the paint, he becomes very, very difficult to stop. And then, of course, yes, he's primarily a shooter, but he can score at all three levels, and he can pick his moments as well, really well.
Yeah, I mean, there's only a matter of time before he started to knock him down as well, and I think just with shooters like that, like we talked about this a lot on Friday night in the commentary, in both the games, that with these elite level players. And I think the same goes for Todd Blanchfield as well. Like you can only force misses out of them for so long before they just start bang, 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 getting into it.
And they always look like they're playing at a slower pace, like they're more controlled. You can't hurry them up. Is the thing, especially when especially Blanchfield, especially with his size and his strength and his skill set. But Robertson, he's just got such a tight handle on that little dribble move he has, that he just does what he wants. He'll take the time he needs, and he'll find his shot. But the quarter finished 24-19, and I feel like the offensives were humming. I feel like the score just about every quarter, except maybe the second where Illawarra put up 26. It felt like there should have been more points in it just from how the offenses were, pretty crisp for the most part.
Yeah, that's was actually kind of one of my summaries for the game was, both teams look really calm and in sync. Minus Justin Timberlake. No, they were quite in sync for the whole game, and that's what really impressed me about the Illawarra Hawks. No matter who stepped on the court, they just their offense that Matt Flynn's implemented just hums along so nicely. And I think coming into the second quarter, they played really good team ball. Matt Mims definitely dominated the first quarter, but then I think straight into the second quarter, Todd Blanchfield came out looking really aggressive. But to give the Sharks a lot of credit, they were forcing him into some tough shots. But, you can only hold him down for so long. Just a couple minutes into the quarter, Blanchfield hits, you can get a hand up, but it's still just like a 50-50 chance that it's going to affect him at all. He hit some, he was taking some kind of contested shots to start the second quarter, eventually hit one with about 7:50 to go in the quarter. But still at the same time, Matt Mims was just still controlling the action.
Yeah, I love talking about this Blanchfield matchup because it harks back to when Sutherland played Manly Warringah and Ryan Abbott was all over Quinn Slazinski like a bad suit all game. But then Abbott took that knock or whatever happened and only played 12 minutes for the game. So I do wonder if he might have guarded Blanchfield a little bit more or even guarded someone else and been really tied up on them and tried to blow things up a little bit more. I mean, it didn't work out so badly in the end with the final result, but it's just something to think about how it might have ended up. But I really enjoyed Kone throughout the game. Would like to see him be, when he gets his opportunities, be aggressive a little more often, but he does. He works well alongside Mims, I think. He defers to Mims when he has to, and then he can run things himself and get, if he's not getting Mims open, he's getting Blanchfield or anyone else open, really. I thought he picked his moments really well. I mean, you know him pretty well from his time at Hornsby as well.
Oh no, I flushed that out of my memory. No. It's something that I did notice watching him last season. Like, he was pretty much given the full keys to the offense for the Spiders, and everyone kind of just got out of the way. And that paid off a lot. The Spiders went on a little win streak when Mo Kone came to join the side. But his role for the Illawarra Hawks is so different. You can tell. I mean, well, first of all, he's playing off ball a lot more, playing the kind of 2-guard spot. Not just like the Illawarra Hawks kind of do play just essentially 3 guards, 2 forwards. Like that, they don't seem to adhere to conventional positions. But just to give you an idea, like Mo Kone is playing more shooting guard for this side, and I'm just so impressed with how he's managed to adapt. I still think there's times where Illawarra Hawks haven't quite figured out how to work him into the offense. There's still patches of the game where he's maybe a bit stranded or has to force up a tough shot. Because he hasn't quite got the clear look. But with the type of professional scorer that he is, he can still get out there and get it. I mean, he had 19 points in this game, but it's not just the scoring with Mo Kone. It's 7 rebounds in this game. He had 5 steals as well.
And they were all before the end of the third quarter. So he racked them up in quick time. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that's just a testament to Mo Kone. I mean, he's a really nice guy as well, but he's a very selfish player. I think he's completely understood the MO that the Illawarra Hawks probably spelt out for him. It's that you're going to come in here, you might not be the number 1, number 2 option that you were last season with the Spiders, but when we do need you to contribute, and I think he's found so many ways to contribute. Scoring when needed, rebounding, hustle on defense. And it just goes to show that he is the ultimate professional. He's a guy who's put his ego aside to just make sure the team has success. So, it was, I don't know, I had kind of mixed thoughts there. For a second, I was thinking, oh God, Mo's not getting that many clean looks here. But then I'm like, oh wait, he doesn't really need that to score. And he's also on a team with Matt Mims, Todd Blanchfield, and for the in normal times, Mason Peatling, actually doesn't need to score that much. So shout out to Mo for doing all the little things right as well.
Do you think there's something to be said for the fact that it was basically Kone and Mims and then either Kami or Moss? Does the difference between Kami and Moss as players change things up?
I think so. I think if you want offense, you put Mossy on. If you want defense, you put Kami on. I mean, that's just because I'm looking at the box score, but Kami is a lot more of a kind of kind of more of a rugby league build, to be honest. He's very strong. He moves his feet really well on defense. On offense, he doesn't take a whole lot of shots, but he knows it's not really what he's there to do. Whereas Ethan Moss, we know he's came up in youth league as a more ball dominant guy, but is definitely known as more of a scorer. Ethan Moss, not to say his defense is shabby at all, but I think that's what you get from those 2 different players. But again, they do kind of just play these 3-guard lineups, so that really opens things up for their forwards.
And one thing I noted, because I saw it during the call, that Sutherland do not usually shoot the 3 ball very well. but they were keeping pace with Illawarra. So Illawarra were 8 of their first 16, but Sutherland was 7 of their first 16 from 3-point range, which I think Sutherland as a team have been shooting sub 30% from 3-point range this season, which is not pretty. I mean, shout out to the Sharks there. They had, obviously, Rayner was hitting. Now they've got Robertson. The number obviously is going up a little bit, but still as a team, it hasn't always been great. So I thought that was massive for them. They were able to get some open looks and then knock them down as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I hate to ruin it for anyone who hasn't watched the full game or got to the end of it, but Spurgeon ended this game with 3 3-pointers, which is great. You wouldn't necessarily look at the tallest guy on the floor and be like, yeah, there's a floor spacer, but yeah, he killed it. And even just to wrap up that second quarter, like with about 3 minutes to go, Spurgeon hits a 3. Then I think just a couple of possessions later, Luke Jamison hits a 3 too. So yeah, it's a really good point, Lockie. I mean, Sharky's not renowned for their 3-point shooting. Sorry, guys. This season, obviously, that's changing a little bit, but at least in seasons gone past, they haven't had a whole lot of shooters. I mean, they haven't really needed it. Of course, shout out to Cal Norris, but yeah, they've got some guys who can knock them down. So you got to still respect them out there.
100%. And I mean, looking at the shooting splits, Illawarra 54% from 2-point range, 57% from 3-point range. So I think that's 4 of 7 for the quarter. Sutherland 50% from 2-point range, only 33% from 3-point range, but they were knocking them down in groups. I mean, you mentioned that as well. There were just more players impacting the game than there were, and it was when we really started to see Todd Blanchfield come into it. And I mean, he finished with 28, and he had just about an even split because he had 13 points at halftime, and it was a 1-point game. And I feel like that was a pretty fair reflection of where we stood at halftime.
Yeah, it was just like back and forth. But I mean, Lockie, you were there. Like, what was the atmosphere like at halftime? Was it a bit like we're surprised to be in this position, or it was? Do you reckon
it was a little tense. I think people were a little on edge. Like when I was watching it back, I was like, this room tone is not. It doesn't sound like a usual Sutherland game. I think people are a little on, especially for a big rivalry game. I think with a lot hanging on it. There was people were a little bit on edge, but they got up during the third quarter, which was tied quarter as well. So it was tight. So it was a 21 all quarter, I believe, 66-65 after 3 quarters. So not a lot changed on the scoreboard, but plenty happened out on the court. I mean, talk about Kone doing good things. He came out at the start of the third quarter and was just kickstarted things for Illawarra at both ends. That pass to Blanchfield to get it to find, over Rayner to find Blanchfield, and then stealing the ball away. He stole the ball away and found Mims after. I mean, I thought the Sharks, they got away with one by leaving Blanchfield wide open. And then Kone's like, no, I'm going to take the ball and give it to Matt Mims instead, and he'll fire away for 3. So Illawarra definitely got out the better to start the third quarter, I thought.
Yeah, definitely. Todd Blanchfield just came out, like, just started filling it up completely. It's like, I don't know, you almost get desensitized to it with Todd Blanchfield as well, because it's just like he's just like a motor. He just continues to hum along, and unfortunately, we didn't see any of his patented push shots, which I love to see. But you can throw anything you want at him. He's still just going to get his buckets. And I think one of the biggest strong suits in his game is that he has like a really high release on that jump shot and a quick release. So he can kind of get that over any hand, no matter what you throw at him. But it's like what I was saying a little earlier. It's like with this Illawarra Hawks team, you really got to pick your poison. And when you're looking at that lineup with Kone, Mims, Blanchfield, and Peatling when he's fit as well, you're looking around going, oh my god, like where am I running on defense here? And when Mossy comes on as well, it's just like another player you got to close out on. I think that just opens up everything for everyone. So I really don't envy any coach who has to write a defensive scouting report or think about the defensive systems against the Illawarra Hawks. But still, to give the Sharkies credit, I think they did a relatively good job hustling and chasing the Illawarra Hawks off the 3-point line, because in this game, the Hawks didn't get a whole lot going on the inside or off drives. They did, but like not nearly enough. They were really banking on threes a lot, and they were going in, but it was maybe a little one-dimensional. And I think as the game wore on, their luck from 3-point land maybe ran out a little bit. But we will get back to that in a moment. One thing I did want to point out, actually, because any time to shout out Jimmy Hunter, I will take that opportunity. I was talking a little earlier about who's going to lead that second unit as a playmaker. Of course, I think Adrian Cabrera, not naturally a point guard, but I think he's really handy setting up teammates, drawing in defenders, and then dishing it out, or finding plays in the dunker spot. But I like when the second unit, when you've got Jimmy Hunter out there just running handoffs, running pick and rolls, running action out of that high post. It's fun to watch, I got to say. So even if you maybe don't have a natural backup point guard, it's Jimmy Hunter. Why not? Like, start to run the offense through him a bit in the second unit. And I saw a bit of that midway through the third quarter.
Yeah, I'm back to your in the paint point. There weren't a lot of points in the paint for the Illawarra Hawks. Sutherland actually won that stat 42-26, and 26 of Sutherland's points in the paint came in the second half. But I loved that you mentioned that Blanchfield didn't get a lot of those, push shots, those little floaters that he loves. And I think that speaks to the Sutherland defense. Make him shoot. I mean, yes, he's got that high release and that quick release, and he can shoot it over anyone. But I'd still rather him have to shoot that over someone than get right into the paint and just drop it home, where he can float it over just about anyone anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they're really making him work for it from 3-point land. But yeah, like once Todd Blanchfield's getting downhill, then it's a very scary prospect. But yeah, I think not having Peatling there to run the pick and roll, get downhill, and at least just be a threat inside the paint, I think really harmed the Illawarra Hawks this game. I still played really well. Like anyone who stepped down on the court, I think still played quite solidly. But yeah, like Phil DePut is more of a kind of stretch big. So when you bring him off the bench, he doesn't, I mean, he can, but like he's maybe a little more comfortable in the triple threat situation or in catch and shoots than he is on pick and rolls and post ups. So yeah, I mean, I think just not having Peatling there, just at least absorbing a bit of that pressure in the paint and getting a few more high percentage shots inside, I think hurt them just a little bit, especially in such a close game as well. There wasn't a whole lot of margin for error.
No, and I do distinctly remember Phil being out in the corner a couple of times. Or I don't know if he shot on every occasion, but he definitely was out there on the corner getting the ball and did shoot at least one corner three. Can we talk about Harrison Rayner literally diving to the basket for an and one?
Yeah, wow. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I just have no idea how he got through that gap. I have no idea how he managed to finish that one off. But don't tell my boss, I was kind of half watching this game and writing notes while I was trying to work today. But like your call kind of like shook me out. Almost got me up out of my chair. But yeah, I have no idea how he got through it. But it's like what you're saying a little earlier, Lockie. I think Harrison Ramos is looking so confident this game. And that layup, I think, was really typified his effort. And
then he came back just a couple of minutes, or maybe not even a couple of minutes, with that little hezzy move, and he's just got everyone out the way and finished quickly. So yes, he can spot up shoot, and I mean, we've seen him go, I think 6 of 8 or 5 of 8 in a game earlier this year. Oh yeah, the overtime game against Central Coast, he went 5 of 8 from 3 and 8 of 8 at the line. So we know he can shoot it, but he's definitely got, getting to the rack, he can definitely make moves as well. And I'm just going to come out and say it. This might be a slightly hot take. Harrison Rayner might be my favorite player on that Sutherland men's roster.
Whoa, okay. Oh. Well, okay. I mean, I think it's fun to have favorites.
I know the commentators aren't supposed to have favorites, but jersey collection. Jersey
Yeah, yeah,
collection.
yeah. What but what I mean, what is it though? Like in short, is his story moving up to New South Wales and backing himself, or his improvement? What do you love the most?
I think it's his improvement. I love the way he plays. I mean, I think everyone knows, anyone who knows who my favorite players are, know that I love, a smaller guard, with a bit of speed, a bit of craft about them. I love someone who can shoot, who can score in a variety of ways. And yeah, just the way he bet on himself coming up from Melbourne and his improvement, I just love everything about his story and what he does. And he's just fun to watch.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. No, I get you on that one, and I'm glad he stayed around at the Shark Tank as well. But I can see why they can hold on to him, Harry Rayner, and again, we we're talking about this before with Nicole Munger. I know it's different moving interstate, but Harry, if you want to come up and get your New South Wales citizenship, we can pull a few strings and you can participate in the future of NBL One State of Origin. Be honorary Sydney Sider.
Tamana Tahu was born in Melbourne and played for New South Wales. So there you go.
Oh, that's a good shout. Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, actually, no. We'll talk about that maybe afterwards. But yeah, I'm still laughing about Michael DeVere.
An off-season episode. Oh, geez, the Michael DeVere call. Yes. Had James not commentating for 2 minutes after making a Michael DeVere reference on Friday night about a player with a taped-up head. But
yeah, so Texas in, if you remember Michael DeVere. But anyway, it's one of the rare New South Wales representatives who played in Queensland. But anyway, back to it. Sorry, let's talk about a Queenslander who's playing in New South Wales, Todd Blanchfield. Harry. Sorry, but yeah, just back to Harry Rayner though. Yeah, I was so impressed, and it really seems like he's arrived on the NBL 1 level this season. He's playing so confidently.
And I mean, at the other end, another guard who was doing good things. I mean, we talked about him before, Ethan Moss. I think another player who bet on himself. Right? Not moving interstate, but moving from Hills to Illawarra is no small move. Made his way down, and immediately, he didn't start, but he played 25 minutes, and he regularly plays good minutes for them. And he finished with 9 points, but he was confident throughout, got to the rack, knocked down a 3 late in the third quarter. I wish he'd not gone for it. I wish he had gone for the 3 on the wing on the next possession instead of going into the rack, because I thought he was open enough. But I think Illawarra really that's a masterstroke by them getting him in.
Yeah, and I don't know. I really like guards who can just engage the defense a lot. And I think Ethan, on a side full of players of guards who can engage the defense, I think that's what Mossy does really well. He just at least just attracts attention. So even if he's not getting his shots up, he's creating space for his teammates. But yeah, I can't speak more highly of Ethan Moss. And I think this kind of uniform choir around the league of people with raps on Ethan Moss. Anyone who's followed him from his youth league days too. It was a bit of a strange move, I got to say. Strange from an outsider's perspective, seeing him go from Hills to Illawarra. It's not, it didn't seem obvious from the outside, but now that we see him down there and he started the season as a starting point guard, of course, when Mo Kone came in, he kind of took a few of his minutes, but Mossy's still featuring very heavily in this lineup. It looks like it's been a masterstroke of a move. And I think in the system as well, he's really shining, Ethan Moss. I think definitely made the right call to go down to Illawarra, and he's only going to get better and better in that system. And look, who knows? This might be a bit of a stretch, but being part of that Illawarra NBL 1 program might start to turn some heads on the NBL level, maybe as a development player. I'm not too sure. Maybe just being around that environment, getting a chance to train with the NBL side. Definitely is a clearer pathway for him. And I don't know. I'm sorry to say, but just another example of Hills not quite retaining their youth talent. But I'm really happy for Ethan Moss to get that opportunity down in Illawarra.
So Sharks dominating the points in the paint, which is borne out in Illawarra shooting 37% from 2-point range, Sutherland shooting 58% from 2-point range. But in all of that, little help with Mo Kone getting his steals. It was still a 1-point game. Illawarra leading 66-65 after 3 quarters, which left us. I usually say 10 minutes to decide it, and I even put that one in the back pocket because I didn't need you there to jinx overtime, James. I had a feeling this one might go the extra 5 minutes.
Oh, God, yeah, it definitely seemed.
It didn't quite, but it was close.
Yeah, I mean, I even just had that at the end of my third quarter notes in bold capital letters. When will this be separated? When will these two teams? Because they kept on just going bucket for bucket and bucket for bucket. And sorry, if I could just rewind for just 1 second. I'm so annoyed that I didn't loop this in. I was talking about Queenslanders making their mark in New South Wales, Michael DeVere, the reverse style, but that Spurgeon dunk, off the pick and roll situation, that was that was incredible. I haven't checked yet. I think that made top 10 plays, right?
Yes, it did. Yes, it definitely did. And he also got Player of the Week.
Yeah, the double whammy.
So it was.
Sorry, I just had to rewind. I couldn't let.
No, it is a very, very important moment to bring up because it was massive and was one of many for him. But it was in the fourth quarter when I started to wonder how much Illawarra were missing Peatling because Spurgeon was starting to dominate, for lack of a better word. That's when he started throwing it down. He started getting really involved. Just looked like they needed a big body for him to bang against Spurgeon and kind of prevent him from getting to his spots. Particularly defensively, they needed someone.
Yeah, I mean they were really struggling to contain him as well, and like fouling a lot. Like Spurgeon, whether it was getting like easy post ups off pick and rolls, or even just closing out on him at beyond the arc. They were really struggling to contain Spurgeon and putbacks as well. Sorry, got a ton of rebounds, not just in the quarter but throughout the game. I'm sure we'll get into it in a couple minutes, but yeah, he. Especially in the dying moments of the game, Spurgeon really stepped up big time. But at the start of the fourth, though, I will say, though, one that I really enjoyed from you, Lockie, was Lockie Clutchinson. So I think you just wanted to mute there, Lockie.
Yeah, no, sorry. I've got crackle in my headphones. But yes, Lockie Clutchison. I've literally never said that before. I don't know how it took me 5 years to come up with it. That is a rare misstep on my part, or a fairly regular misstep on my part. But yes, thanks, James.
No, it's all right. I really appreciate that because he got his first bucket late in the third quarter, then came out. It's about a minute and a bit into the fourth quarter and hit a 3. The Clutchinson call of the game. But anyway, it was my favorite. It was just helped to start the quarter off on the right note for the Southern Sharks, because I mean if he's going to keep running that pick and roll action with Spurgeon, if they're going to focus on Spurgeon on the roll, then obviously that was leaving Hutchinson open for opportunities. But yeah, I think that really did set the tone for the fourth quarter. But I got to say, in that midway through like that fourth quarter, sorry, should I say, it's become a bit of a foul fest. There was a lot of physicality.
It was, but I think it was also a bit of veteran savvy from some players, because especially Blanchfield started goading defenders. Robertson even got Blanchfield on one late on, got one back on him. So there was a bit of it was physical, but the offensive players were pretty smart about it as well. I mean, that is exactly what I wrote down about Blanchfield. It was veteran savvy, which is I do love that term.
It is good, and I do love the title of veteran as well. I hope no one ever takes it as a slight that you're a little bit of an older vintage. Like I think that veteran savvy is it's just like saying you're wise, you're wise and knowledgeable, and you've seen it all before, and it ain't your first rodeo. And yeah, you're so right about that. I remember you even saying that on the commentary that I think that's what happens with those elite scorers, especially in a cagey match like this. Not only does it give you a chance to chip back into the lead or even up the score or take a further place in the league, it really deflates the other team. Like drawing those fouls out, especially when they're ones that maybe not so much like a bad calls, but like, you've been baited into it. That just deflates the opposition. But you're right, Robertson and Blanchfield are getting it, getting those like both at each other. And then it was just a bit of a sloppy period, I feel, with about 4 minutes to go in the game. And then we had a timeout. And after that timeout, I feel like both teams just clicked back into gear.
Yeah, I mean, Illawarra only scored 9 points in the final 5 minutes of the game, which I thought was absolutely wild, and only 4 points in the final 3 minutes or so. After that timeout, Illawarra looked so much better, and I don't know how they didn't score more points in that first minute and a half or so after the timeout, because they looked really good, and just things weren't quite dropping.
Yeah, because Kone came out and hit a three, I think, straight away after that after that timeout. But yeah, I think this is when they did need to continue to look inside, because they were getting good looks at the three, but they just weren't dropping. I think it's times like that you actually just need to get down there and either draw the foul or finish strong with the high percentage shot inside the paint. But I think that they'd been so successful with their threes, even their mid ranges up until that point. But yeah, those last few minutes of the game, that they just couldn't get it to drop.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, their 3-point percentage went from, it was 44% in the first quarter, 57% in the second quarter, 38% in the third quarter, and then it dropped to 28.5% in the fourth, which, doing the maths, that's 2 of 7 in the fourth quarter, which, when you consider they started the game 8 of 16 from 3, it's a bit of a fall away when you most need the shots dropping, unfortunately. And there was one, Matt Mims, the way he'd been playing all night, how open he was. They were up 84-80 at the time. Had an open three. If he knocked it down, they go to a 7-point lead. You can almost put the cue in the rack at that stage with how the game was going. But it gave Sutherland an opportunity. Harrison Rayner played some really good defense on Mims, which let Jamison really guard Blanchfield tightly, which was a Blanchfield short air ball that needs to go in the archive, because you're not going to see those too often. But Jamison did really well defending him on that one. And I
thought that was a glitch in the stream. Sorry, so that actually did happen.
It did happen, but
oh no.
And then Hutchison and Spurgeon ran a pick and roll, and Spurgeon got the putback after Hutch's miss. And that was when I felt that the tide was starting to turn. That Illawarra were up. It was now a 2-point game. And it was just starting to turn Sutherland's way.
Yeah, I think it was. Illawarra just, I don't know if it was exhaustion or not, but one thing I did notice is Mims wasn't running the point as much, which I think was maybe, I'm not too sure why, but we talk about that dominance in the first quarter, especially, and in the first half. I think that was when Mims was running the offense, when he was bringing the ball up and they're running everything off that. But I noticed a lot more in that the last couple minutes of the game, they had Kone more on ball. And I kind of get it, because you want to free Mims up a little bit to maybe get him some off-ball catch and shoot situations. But I think what they sacrificed in doing that was the like continuity and the stability that Mims brings when he is running the offense. So look, I'm no coach, but I just think they maybe should have kept Mims on the ball playmaking, because there was some, I don't know, there's just some low percentage, I'd say, shots from Mo Kone, which, I mean, again, you do want him shooting, but I think it maybe wasn't the right shot at the right time. And then with about under 2 minutes to go, Robertson ties it up. I think it was just a layup, 84-84. And then that last minute, just everything went the way of the Sharks, including one of Lockie France's best commentator curses of all time.
Hey, if Todd Blanchfield misses free throws, that's not on me. That is not on me.
Yeah, I know.
He's got twice as many NBL appearances as I do commentary appearances across all sports and all competitions. That's not on me.
That's true, but yeah, it was interesting. It was an interesting pickup. Because that would have made the game a little more interesting. Kind of would have brought. Actually, not really. I mean, like it was maybe dead buried and cremated at that point because we're talking about like under a minute to go. And just a couple of seconds before that, Spurgeon had hit a huge three and then given them the shark fin as well. That was massive too.
But I mean, to be fair, everyone was missing free throws down the stretch. It wasn't just Blanchfield. I mean, Jamison, Spurgeon, and Hutchison all missed at least one in their trips down, and they just was only the fact that they managed to get stops at the other end that meant it didn't create any issues. Speaking of getting a stop, the play that put a bow on it for Jason Spurgeon, that block on Matt Mims,
that was nice.
That was huge, and he saved it from going out of bounds.
Nice.
That was
somewhere out there. Bill Russell smiling. I got to say. I always said that, like, yeah, it's one thing to block it, but you got to maintain possession as well, and
especially in that situation.
That was that was big. Like, and I think that's what really sealed the deal, and actually sealed the deal for Spurgeon to be Player of the Week, because you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that block I think was just the last nail in the coffin that the Sharkies needed. And what turned out to be I don't know. Like you can probably weigh on in this a little bit better than I can, but one of Spurgeon's most complete, well-rounded performances as a Sutherland Shark. Look, I could be wrong. I haven't watched every one of his games since he's been with the Sharkies, but from start to finish, it was just incredible performance by Jason Spurgeon.
No, it was really good. I mean, he's a very well-rounded player, and he does a lot of things well, but he won Player of the Week for a reason. He did a lot and was effective throughout. And it's not unusual to see him, do that kind of thing, but I do think it was one of his better performances, definitely.
Yeah, just to round it out. And yeah, the Sharkies just like snuck away with a win, but just I think it was pretty much decided in those last I'd say like last 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I think from the time it was 84-80 in Illawarra's favour, something clicked in Sutherland that they were able to just get it over the line. Sutherland went up, Illawarra went down at exactly the same time, and it panned out in Sutherland's favour, and it finished 92-88. So I'll just run through a few leaders. Of course, the Player of the Week, Jason Spurgeon, 25 points, 12 rebounds. As you mentioned, James, 3 of 4 from 3-point range, including the big shark fin 3. Also 4 of 5 at the line, 9 of 14 from the field. Luke Jamison, 9 of 16 to finish with 24 points, 2 of 5 from 3-point range. This is a man who was shooting 15% from the field about maybe a third of the way through the year. And we always knew he was going to come good, and he's coming good at the right time. Tyler Robertson, 16 and 6 with a couple of assists and a couple of steals. Harrison Rayner, 16 points, 5 rebounds on 6 of 8 shooting. And Lockie Hutchison, 5 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. We know he loves his all-starters in double figures, but he'll take himself being not the only one not to get it. Whilst, I guess for Illawarra, the three-headed monster of Blanchfield, Mims, and Kone, 28 and 13 for Blanchfield, 27 points and 2 assists for Mims on 10 of 19 shooting, 5 of 8 from 3-point range. And Kone, 19 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 steals, and a block. But, I mean, Ethan Moss had 9 points, but just not a whole lot of other scoring support outside of those 3. And in those big moments, that's when, you're leaning on basically those 3 guys to do it all.
Yeah, it's a little too much to ask. And look, I got to say, like, I think Fletcher McDonald had an uncharacteristic game. Again, I think he had some strapping on his hands, so there may have just been an injury there. Because he was getting good opportunities I know there's just like a little pop that he did, or like a little floater that he did at point blank range, was just ringed out. So I think Fletcher was a little unlucky with a fair few of his shots, and Philly cheesesteak off the bench, 3 points. But yeah, not a whole lot of, only 3 bench players used. So we didn't see any Harley Kent, no Joel Lyons, no Dante Bruton, Jonah Flynn, a little under 5 minutes of action. So maybe one of those guys could have been the difference maker. But yeah, I think the Peatling factor, not to keep harping on about it, but I think that would have been a huge difference maker for them.
Oh, 100%. And I said at the end of the game, which you can't hear because it gets clipped, but I actually said that, Illawarra, they're not going to be happy with the result, but they're going to be able to say, we went into Sutherland with no Peatling and only lost by 4.
Yeah,
they can feel pretty good about their future chances if these teams match up again in finals.
Yeah, and they might just as well. I think Illawarra's not. I don't think they'll hang their head too much with that performance. I mean, I know they do want to secure that top seed, but 1 or 2, it doesn't really matter. Like, I think they're locked in for finals. Like not locked in their spot, but I think they've really turned their focus to the finals now because all season long they've just kind of been cruising, to be honest. But they know because of last year, like regular season, it doesn't matter once you get into the last dance. But meanwhile, for the Sharkies, I got to say, it's you would hate to verse them in the finals. I got to say, I think this side on their day, I'm not saying it's reminiscent of 2023 or 2023, right?
Yes.
Yeah, where they won it. Sorry. Yeah, it's just like I think this side they could do some special things in the finals. Look, I could be wrong, but they just have that look about them that they might not be the form side throughout the regular season or anything, but just give them a single game, and I reckon they can grind out a victory on almost anyone, the Sharks side. So I'd hate to be facing them in the finals. That's all I'm saying.
Well, they've already beaten Manly. They've beaten Illawarra. They play North in the final day of the regular season on Saturday night. If they got a win in that one, they might finish 4th, but they'd have regular season wins against each of the top 3 teams, and all late in the season as well. So can't ask for much more than that, especially considering for the first round, your head coach was still with the Kings. So was Spurgeon. For the first little bit of the season, you didn't have Spurgeon. You didn't have Robertson until about the midway point. You've only played about half the season with your actual full roster.
Yeah, and won 5 out of the last 5 games. So they're really hitting form at the right time of the season, the Sharks. So yeah, you're right. That matchup against North this weekend, that's going to be very intriguing. So I should know this, but is that home or away?
It is at home.
Okay, well, I'll definitely be tuning in then.
Oh, thank you, sir. You don't have a Hornsby game to be watching?
I do, but I'll pop your stream on the side. I'd rather listen to that than my voice, but I'll definitely be keeping an eye on that matchup because a lot of NBL talent going head to head in North v Sharks. Meanwhile, Illawarra are going to face Hills Hornets, which I think will be another test with the Hornets. I think going down last week to Penrith. Last round to Penrith, but a side that's shown some really good signs in the last couple of rounds.
Yeah, they have. It's kind of annoying. It's actually perhaps a little bit of a theme emerging for these teams that are just about to that could miss finals or right on the cusp, because Comets 8-11 lost to Penrith, Hills 8-11 lost to Penrith. If they get to 9-11 and miss out by a game, they're going to look back on that loss to a team that finished with 3 wins all season. Especially for Comets, I think it was a 1-point game, and for Hills it was a 3-point game, so not much better. So Hills will be coming out absolutely swinging in that one, looking to at least get their 9th win and give themselves a chance. But any final thoughts on the game, James?
Oh, on the game, I think it was. Honestly, it's like pretty top quality basketball. It's like really like as I said, there was multiple NBL players in that game, and I think it really showed. Because neither team at any point, I mean, maybe besides last minute, really looked like the game was out of their control or out of touch for them. In fact, I would almost go as far as saying that Illawarra looked very comfortable the whole game. But I think like a lot of credit to the Sharks side, who like really did dig deep, especially defensively, and came up trumps at the right time. So look, for the Illawarra Hawks, I think the only notes I'd give them is, I don't know, stay healthy. No, it would be just keep Matt Mims running the offense at point. Look, just don't take my advice. It's no good. But I think when Mims is running the show, they look really good. And then for the Sutherland Sharks is get it to Spurge. It's a pretty simple game, but I think when they got him on post seals and in pick and rolls, he was looking great. I think when he was standing on the perimeter dribbling up, not as effective, but if they can find a way to get Spurge in the pick and roll situation, the pick and pop situation, and on post ups as well, it was pretty much unstoppable. So I think it's been a good time of year to unlock Spurgeon.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Brilliant analysis as always. And where can we find you this weekend? You are commentating. The Spiders are at home.
We got last game of the Brick Pit, so get out to it, ladies and gentlemen. Bruins versus Spiders. Women tipping off at 5 and the men at 7. But sorry, it's a bit inside basketball, I guess, inside baseball. Big day all round at the Brick Pit. If you're in the area, we've got Moss Vale coming up. Top of the table, Moss Vale to versus Spiders in Waratah League. Spiders men are 4th at the moment. The Youth League 2 men are playing before that as well. They're currently top of their conference. And early in the day as well, you've got the youth women's side fighting to avoid relegation. But they've got a Bankstown Bruins side ahead of them with that's stacked with fun talent. So it's going to be a big day at the Brick Pit. I'll be there quite early on, but I can't wait. It's always going to be a fun time. And for you, Lockie, you've got not just a big Saturday, but you've got a mammoth weekend.
I do have a mammoth weekend. I have Sutherland versus Penrith on the Friday night, 6 p.m. tip-off for the women, 8 p.m. for the men. So very much looking forward to that. The last time Penrith were at Sutherland Basketball Stadium, the women won on the opening day of last year, 55-46. Sophia Hunt scored 10 points on debut. So I'm looking very much forward to that. Got some Western New South Wales talent on that Penrith women's team as well. So always looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And then it means because we got the Friday night game, we don't have to get there obscenely early to set up everything for Saturday because it'll all be set up from Friday night for Sutherland versus North, which is going to be monumental in the men's league. Women's game, not really playing for anything. Women, North have locked up top spot. Sutherland, unfortunately, the splits don't fall their way and they can't make finals. But look, playing for pride, playing for contracts, or, to put yourself in the shop window for other teams or a spot back at your current club for the next season. And then the men's game is going to be absolutely ridiculous. So that's 5 p.m., 7 p.m. tip-off at the Shark Tank. Come down, get in the Beer Farm Beer Garden, or stay home and listen to Jake and I talk. Men's game between Sutherland and North will be mine and Jake Hilton's 100th game together.
Wow. Happy anniversary. There we go.
Thanks, James. That's one way to put it.
No, that's awesome. Wow. 100 game together.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, well, I mean, if any Sharks management's watching, Adrian, if you want to get a little plaque, signed jersey, maybe a signature beer can, maybe to celebrate the occasion. I'm sure they'll put something up, maybe on the big screen up there. But yeah, congratulations. That's great. And I gotta say, Jake's killing it on the commentary week in, week out. You guys really bounce off each other really nicely.
Oh, thank you, sir. You'd hope so after 5 years together.
Yeah. Can I just add one thing as well with the North Sutherland matchups that you got coming up as well? you know, for North fans, they might have a little bit of PTSD with both these sides, because when the Sharkies men went on their championship run, they of course knocked out Norths and Junior Maduit on their way to doing it. And when the Sharkies went on their grand final run, the women, that is, they knocked out a red hot Norths. I wouldn't say it was necessarily an upset, but Norths were definitely one of the favourites that year. So anytime these two teams come head to head, it's previously been in finals or just in the regular season, it's normally a great matchup. Because I mean, and I don't know, sorry to put North fans through those experiences again, but it's I don't know, it's not quite an official rivalry, but they're just two like top quality programs. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I reckon they're going to pack it out. And Lewis Holey is going to be giving it to the Sutherland fans, I'm sure, as he always does, and I'm sure they're going to be packing out.
Yes. And for those of you who are only listening and not watching, my jerseys tonight are the Sutherland Maddie Norris Anzac Day and the game worn North pink jersey Rebecca Donnelly. But I think that's about. And you have a Townsville jersey. Who's on the back of that?
It's a custom made one. It's I kind of look. I'm still, in case you guys didn't notice, I actually moved house since last time we were in East Coast game, so I haven't quite unpacked everything. But all I could find today was my Townsville jersey. I think that's a little Todd Blanchfield shout out, little Eliza Fabro shout out as well. I know we weren't talking about the women's side for the Sharkies, but always representing Townsville, and it's got my mum's maiden name on it because mum's family is all up from Townsville. So it's got Cavallaro on the end of it, and which I think is a much nicer name than Milan sometimes. I got that custom made and shipped down. And then the shirt I've got on is a Sydney Kings one, which I thought I'd wear for Spurgeon and Robertson, but it is a Isaac Gutona jersey, that is
so good.
Which when I was working at Vinnie's, someone donated this, a Bawali Bales jersey and an RJ Hunter jersey all in one package. And I'm like, this is a jackpot. I went to my manager and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm buying these, whatever price you want. I gotta take care of these. I mean, of course, Isaac Gutona, great 2 seasons with the Kings. They're not getting a whole lot of playing time. The Bawali Bales jersey, I gave that as a gift to someone. I'm a big fan of Bawali, but I kind of regret giving it up because it's such a ripper. But I thought I'd wear this to honor the man himself, Isaac, and honor the two Sydney Kings playing for the Sharks. So two pretty unique jerseys. I'm glad these ones didn't get caught up in the move.
Very good. All right. Well, that is about all we have time for. So thank you for joining us this week on eScott Game. Remember, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at eScott Game, or you can continue to find our episodes on your preferred streaming platforms. But James, what do we got to tell the people?
Don't sleep on the East.